Welcome to Creative Revolutionaries. In each episode, we explore the revolutionary power of ideas to create positive, meaningful change. I'm Jake Myhre, Senior Strategist at Superunion London, and today I'm joined by Shahin Zarrabi, Vice President of Brand and Corporate Marketing at ESL Gaming, where he's responsible for both the ESL and DreamHack brands. So, Shahin, for those not already aware, what is DreamHack, how did it start, and what has it become?
So, DreamHack is a gaming lifestyle festival. It started as a gathering of computer enthusiasts who got together, brought their PCs into a school cafeteria, and they explored creativity in the kind of confines of programming. They created these small audiovisual snippets that was called demos. And they shared that with their friends who were there, and they also competed to see who had the best ones. And it had a very tight connection to video games because that's where you usually needed computer-generated graphics and audio. So over time, gaming became a bigger and bigger component of this event. And as that happened, more participants came. The venues we were hosting DreamHack events in grew. And, flash forward 27 years from 1994 of the first DreamHack, we now have about 12, 13 events every year across the globe, including everything gaming. It could be anything from esports to that bring your own computer component, to cosplay, to speedrunning, to indie games being presented at the event. So it's really a place where everything and anything gaming goes.
Amazing. And of course, gaming culture has come so far since DreamHack's early days. How has the festival changed along with gaming culture, and what role do you think DreamHack may have played in gaming's recent evolutions?
I think there's so many things that DreamHack has been both a part of and been impacted by. But if I had to select two things that kind of stand out, one is obviously esports. So competitive video gaming was always part of the DreamHack festivals. But in the late 2000s and early 10s, esports really boomed, and it's probably still the biggest reason why a lot of people know the DreamHack brand within the gaming and esports community. Mm-hmm. So esports really was something that impacted DreamHack and made it grow to what it is today. But we were also kind of the pioneers within the space, introducing live streamed games and hosting some of the biggest esports competitions in the world. So that's definitely one of them. I think the second thing I would highlight is the whole kind of like creator world that has been created in gaming with an emphasis on live streaming. So, very tied to esports, where people would play games on stream and talk about it on stream. Those same channels, such as Justin TV or later Twitch, became the place where a lot of gamers just streamed casually. And we both were a part of kind of facilitating that and creating an arena where that kind of grew as a phenomenon. But now we also need to tap into it because it's what everyone wants to see at our events.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. So as gaming goes mainstream, so to speak, and its cultural influence continues to grow around the globe, what changes do you foresee at DreamHack and within gaming culture at large?
I think, what I mentioned with creators kind of taking over more and more is the result of gaming, and similar to all other cultural phenomenons, being democratized, where people can, find more niches, more areas where they can, find their community and their belonging. So for us, it's all about finding those, discovering those areas and incorporating them, integrating them into our festivals, and just stay on the top of the developments within the industry. And I think it's not even gaming anymore. It's just within all types of entertainment, really, whether it's TV shows, film, music. There's so much happening at such a rapid pace. And it's a similar thing within gaming, right? So for us, it's all about finding those communities and creating a place where they can come and they can share their passion in a physical space.
So now more than ever before, gaming is a powerful form for social connection and personal expression in people's lives. What role does this play at DreamHack, and what impact do you think the festival has on the lives of its attendees?
I think social connection specifically is the core of DreamHack. I mean, we were bringing people together from a world where they're usually meeting online or where their kind of context is digital. And so creating this space where they can fulfill their, human need of meeting face to face and enjoying, experiences in real life. That is the core of DreamHack. That's why DreamHack exists. And even though it seems almost counterintuitive that you would bring a digital phenomenon, community movement into the physical space, it's simply because people want to meet each other. They want to see each other face to face. And so, that's really how that has affected us and how we have impacted them. I think, you can really see it in the groups of people and communities coming back to DreamHack event after DreamHack event, is that you've been part of creating lifelong relationships, whether it's friends or even people getting married on stage at DreamHack. So I think, we've just added this component of the real life to what is usually the online life.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an incredibly powerful experience, like I could say for myself. DreamHack, of course, is where the gaming community comes to life. How has this mission been reinterpreted during the lockdown period, and what lasting change do you think we'll see?
I think we've used it in two ways. One would be that we kind of use that mission where the gaming community comes to life as a framework or even as a filter. As any other company in this space, or at least entertainment companies, live event companies, we evaluated a lot of what we were doing, the processes, the product, the features of the product. And so that was a very recurring phrase that would come up. Is this something that brings the gaming community to life? And it was easy for us to actually, for the first time in a long while, since we're hosting event after event, sit down, have a bit of time and evaluate what we were doing. And that mission really helped us identify which are the key features of the DreamHack Festival that we want to kind of grow and develop for our visitors. I think the second thing that really kind of brought it to life was that we used it to build a basis on which we built DreamHack Beyond, which was an online equivalent of a DreamHack Festival. So we built this video game in which you were part of an event and you could go around and do a bunch of mini games. You could meet other people, you could meet other brands, and we just applied the same kind of methodology and same kind of mission onto that video game experience and tried to recreate the DreamHack Festival in an online experience. And I think we had 80,000 visitors going there, and it's a component or a product that we're going to keep doing next year as a kind of tie-in to our DreamHack festivals.
Amazing. It's so cool. And just to continue the conversation around innovation at DreamHack, what role does creativity play at DreamHack and within its culture? And how are your colleagues and fans empowered to create, experiment, and innovate?
Creativity is really what DreamHack is all about. I think if you go to a DreamHack festival, every component you see there, whether it's esports or cosplay or speedrunning, it started out with one or two people or a group of people, doing that by themselves and other people kind of walking by and seeing that, and then it kind of grew by itself. And so for us, we're thinking about being creative about creativity. So we always talk about creating an arena or a forum or a platform, all of these words where we facilitate creativity. So in every discussion we have, obviously we do a lot of production ourselves. So we put up the esports tournaments or we put up the cosplay contest, but we also stop to think and say, hey, how can we enable the visitors, the participants, to actually be creative themselves? And I think that's kind of part of our DNA, and one thing that we always ask ourselves, even from the smallest thing to the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And as this platform for the gaming community, I think it's so amazing that often you see the most up and coming, exciting new niches in the community and in the culture at DreamHack first. What revolutionary ideas do you think will have the biggest impact on the future of gaming? And which are you the most personally excited about?
I think the general kind of like increased access to video games is going to be key. And, mobile gaming, for example, is a very big driver in that, in kind of bringing gaming as a phenomenon to so many more people, and so many more places in the world, by just making games accessible in this device that you carry with you every day, and almost everyone in the world having a cell phone in their pocket, right? So I think that will be maybe a revolution that DreamHack needs to be aware of, and DreamHack needs to create a space for, so that we don't miss the train, right? But then obviously, and maybe more of a personal one, I think there's so many new technologies and concepts when it comes to games, and how you create games to be more interactive, since they're going to be streamed online, where viewers online could basically affect what's happening to the player in real time. I think those types of kind of like integrations and developments in game development is going to be so crucial in keeping this momentum from the kind of like creator-driven gaming industry.
Totally. And just stepping outside of gaming for a moment, what inspiration do you think gaming can take from revolutions that have maybe occurred in other passions, industries, or communities?
I think there's a lot of things. I mean, one is already happening. I would say gaming has taken a lot of inspiration from music, film, books, where the kind of distribution model has been changed, and you're subscribing to on-demand services where you can kind of get a book, listen to a book whenever you want, or watch a show whenever you want. And this is already happening within gaming, right? With products such as Game Pass or PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus. So I think that's a very easy way to bring more people into gaming and to increase the variety of games. But I think a more important revolution, maybe it's not going to happen in the sense of it changing overnight, but a need for a strong movement, is on the topic of diversity and inclusion within gaming, where you can see in music, in TV, and film, that there's a more conscious effort to create, thoughtful experiences where minority groups, marginalized groups aren't taken for granted, and also aren't made into, token characters or token situations, right? And I think in video games, which has historically been a predominantly male industry, both in terms of video game development, but also the players and participants, I think a strong movement is needed, where there are role models, where there are video game characters, and where there are games that don't only cater to the existing target groups, but increases, its width and appeal to so many more people, both within the existing countries and regions where gaming is big, but also in developing countries where gaming is getting to be big through mobile gaming and streaming gaming.
Thank you so much for your time today, Shahin, and thanks for everyone for watching.